Doesn't matter. It could be
No,
just me and you,
it's
as it
all good.
was. Listen, just as it was in LA. Oh, we're live, by the way.
Oh, we're
Just so
live.
we
Oh,
ready.
well, okay. Thanks. Appreciate that.
We're,
Hannibal,
listen,
the
we're
showrunner,
professional.
the programmer.
we're, we're very professional here. Listen, now a couple days ago, me and you spent a lot of quality time together.
Yeah, man. What's up with
Yeah,
that, bro? What's
what's
up
up
with
with that?
that?
Because we had business to take care of. We
Business,
hanging out
business.
in LA, downtown, hanging out, shared a hotel room together. Don't be
Sure
shy.
did.
Don't be shy. We
Yeah.
can talk about it. Let me ask you a question. Did you, because, we actually spent, lots of time together. Was anything you learned new about me all the time hanging out?
No,
I mean,
I mean, you put me on the spot. I'm trying to think. Let me go back. No,
I mean, neither.
Hannibal doesn't snore. I he doesn't snore.
Hold on a second. Lee is just trying to be
Uh,
funny. Look at this. How dare he?
oh,
When is the sex tape coming out? When do we say we had? How dare you guys? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but that
oh Lord.
no
What's
one.
up, y'all? What's up? Hey, shout out to the chat coming in. Hi. I love it. I
Yeah,
love
yeah, coming in very aggressive. What's going
it.
on, guys? Welcome to the Pedro and Hannibal podcast. My name is Hannibal. That guy over there, name is Pedro. We had a really good time over there in
Let me
LA.
show y'all where we was at. Hold up, for y'all that don't know. Hold up. Let me.
Pedro, take off his mic.
Real quick.
His headset. Oh, he put on the LA hat, the little custom hat. I didn't know John gave that to you.
LA. We was in LA. Shout out to my boy John McKillian. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. There you go.
Yeah. Wait. How this is getting ridiculous. Hector says, "Y'all
Oh
chill.
yeah.
I
Listen.
knew this was
Yeah.
going to happen."
This is funny.
And Jody says, "The cuddle bros." Listen, guys.
Listen. No, actually, that's hella funny. Actually.
Yeah, you think this is funny? What
Listen.
Bobby says?
Who was the?
Who was the spoonie? And we first of all, that didn't happen, and we all know who would be the spoonie if it did happen. You feel me, right, Pedro?
Yeah, definitely know who would be. Listen, y'all. Listen, grown men save money, so fuck all that.
Oh yeah. Listen,
we saving money, baby. Yeah, we saving money.
I mean, I had no problem. We barely were in the room.
We were, yeah.
And,
we was busy, man. It was a great time, man. It was. This was one of the better trips I've had. It was business, but it was also, hanging out and meeting great people. Like it was a really good time. LA was fun. Had great people, great hosts showing us around. Tried the In-N-Out burger, which, unpopular opinion, maybe In-N-Out is overrated. I'll just leave that right there. Okay,
yeah, I saw
talk amongst in the chat if you want, but
I saw the short.
Yeah,
there were a few people that did agree, but then there was also you didn't order the right thing. First of all, we were with legit LA natives. They
people
told us what the double. Yes,
they ordered for us. They ordered for us, and the double burger was good, but I've had much better burgers in St. Louis, like plenty of times, and the fries were absolutely the most tasteless things I've ever tasted.
Yeah, I think anything of the issue with the In-N-Out burger or the restaurant was the fries. They look like they just cut them and then like put it on the plate and gave it to us, and then put all that other stuff on it. But the burger was fine. I think when you look at it, you can't compare, I think, an In-N-Out burger or any fast food burger to your burger joint restaurant or your bar. So if I would say in terms of fast food burgers, it's higher up there. It's up there with your Five Guys, which I think Five Guys is a little overrated in my opinion.
Do you?
I think Shack could be a little bit. I mean, another thing too, I'll eat all these burgers right now. You give me any of these burgers, I'm going to eat it.
I'll tell you this: if you put an In-N-Out in front of me right now, I had dinner an hour ago. I'd eat the burger right now.
I'll eat the burger right now.
It's not inedible. It's not but it's just not good. Now I'll say this: the place was packed, but the service was good. Service was really good. The two girls working, they were really, really smiley and good and quick. The staff was efficient. When I go to places, I look at staff. They're moving. There's hustling. They're smiling. They got their shit together. They're organized. Shout out to them. And the pricing was phenomenal. 4 people ate. Only one of the 4 had fries and like a beverage, but 3 combos, a fry, and a beverage for $42.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You got to give some props to the pricing and how they protect their brand.
Yes,
I didn't know that you couldn't order that for delivery. No. I didn't know they put like that's on purpose, which is kind of like, damn, you guys are too good for a DoorDash driver to come in and be annoying.
But they're not.
But they're not. Well, Fair enough. But I would say of all the fast food, like West Coast have better fast food establishments than East Coast. I don't know if like Midwest, maybe you guys have. I didn't see
We
any.
have a lot of good Midwest fast food. We like to eat in the Midwest. We're fat. We're more fat here than on the coast, I think. So we like to eat it anybody that's in the Midwest can vouch for that in the chat right now. We eat, and we're fat. So it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Levi's up. You think maybe it was a bad location? I don't think it was a location. I think it was just the like how they made the fries is just something that, and I love fries. It just wasn't enough fried there. Like,
and I think so. Our one of our hosts, Nicole, she's the one that took us there, and she eats very healthy, and she was talking about why they do what they do, and I eat a lot of processed food. I'm sure Hannibal does too. I like my fries with a lot of salt and all the things on them, and so your taste buds get used to that. These fries are literally cut in house, and I don't think the oil or whatever they use is probably super healthy and organic or whatever.
Yeah, like we're
no salt on the fries, like no salt at all.
That's weird.
That was have salt on fries. Like, come on.
Maybe we should ask for that.
Yeah.
So Hector and Garden State are saying something that I don't get it, but I'm gonna put it up before we continue on. Okay. Hector says Burger King is number one, and then Garden State like said it's really good.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't like Burger King at all.
Listen, Burger King, I've eaten Burger King plenty of times. My problem with Burger King is I can get into this. Listen, I'm a foodie, but the meat to bun to garden set up bun density ratio on Burger King is off. If you get a Whopper with cheese, that's your meat. You got cheese, everything else, and then bam, big ass fucking bun, right? Like it just doesn't do it for me, right? And you got the flame grill taste. Listen, ain't nobody cooking that over a flame grill, guys.
Yeah, that's bull.
The marks on a burger are manufactured. So listen, Burger King's not bad, but it ain't number one.
Outsider said, "Do y'all try it?" Yes, the animal style.
We did,
both. Again, I ate mine in 30 seconds. Pedro, he bought humbugs everything. It takes he takes it very seriously, and his food and stuff like that. What?
No. Okay. Sorry, that's the baby mama hitting me up. So
you're making sure that everything was good. No problem.
She said, "Is the laundry too loud?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Get out of here."
So you don't know. You haven't noticed this. I don't think you noticed this, Pedro. I think people in the Midwest are nice. I think they're really nice people. But I definitely felt a difference. And maybe I told this to my girl. I'm like, maybe I'm just lucky that 48 hours or the amount of time that we were there.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed very nice. Is it we just lucky with that? Because East Coast and I've been born and raised here.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn. Be 39 this year. We're not that nice. Like we're just not.
Yeah.
We're just not. I don't know what it is. I think it's the cold weather, but everyone down there was super, super nice. So I don't know. It could just be I'm being lucky, but I don't know. What you thought about it?
I definitely had that experience. I think we stayed in downtown LA in a hotel that was kind of like a nicer kind of hotel. So people were just going to be nice, and it was kind of a really like younger hotel. A lot of people that stayed there were kind of younger, and met a lot of cool people though. Yeah. I mean, even a couple of bars, 2-3 bars we went to. I mean, everybody was chill.
Yeah.
The event we went to, I'm not surprised everybody at the event was cool and nice because they're in our industry. They knew we were coming. Like, they were excited to see us and we were excited to see them. So, but yeah, I definitely everybody was nice. Yeah, I think if we went to New York, maybe a few more people might have spat in our face. I will
guarantee you. It's not me just being hyperbolic here. You come to Brooklyn, you will feel hostility.
Yeah,
and something like either we're gonna be at a bar or at a fast food establishment. You will feel some level of hostility, not necessarily towards you, but you will feel it. Like someone is annoyed with somebody. And I'm just wondering, when I was out doing my thing, walking down the street, doing, there obviously the homeless is there, very prevalent.
Very, very prevalent.
Even the homeless seemed, even the weird ones seemed really nice.
Well, we did. Me and Hannibal and I did at one point. I think it was in the morning. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. We're walking somewhere. There's this woman just talking to herself on the street, kind of loudly by herself, just like you didn't know if she was on something or she just had a bad night. Like and And we just walked by her, and she just, just doing her thing. So maybe in New York, that person does that and they shank you. I don't know what the difference is, but
yes,
I mean, in LA, they just talk to themselves and leave you alone. So
yeah, and again, maybe we weren't there long enough to get a real assessment. I mean, but yeah, we had a great time. Probably started drinking. I think that one Friday. No, the Friday at 10:00 in the morning.
We started early. I think who had the first? I think Hannibal and I at the same time were just like, "Oh, there's some drink.
Yes,
it's 5:00 somewhere. We'll have one. It's fine."
Yeah, and then like may have been some people judging because it's like, "Hey, what are you drinking over there?" Like it's 10:00 in the morning.
Don't care.
Yeah,
it's there for a reason. So
of course. But before we get into the whole Chris Rock situation.
Yeah,
I want to talk about Ja Morant, which is now they nicknamed him on Twitter John Warrant, which is kind of funny. Actually, I was laughing a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So he is on Instagram showing a gun. It's not just that. The problem is he may have some legal issues because for him to have the gun, he traveled across state lines with a gun. He wasn't supposed to. Like it's more and more problems. The Grizzlies suspended him for I think 2 games. But the NBA is probably going to suspend him indefinitely. I think, well, before I would tell you what I think, Pedro, what do you think about the situation?
Okay. To be honest, I was very selfish at first because he's going to be fine. He's got a lot of money. He's not going to jail. Like he'll be okay. So whatever. But I'm going to Memphis to watch this man play basketball on Saturday. And my nephew. And that's not going to happen.
No.
And I paid for these damn tickets. So Ja Morant, read between the lines.
Shame on you, man.
Shame on you, Ja Morant. Now, my only thing is, okay, hopefully Kyrie and Luka play and they don't rest. Because I am praying.
Do they need
those guys don't
games? Actually, they do. They've been losing. Yeah, so they definitely play because they've been.
I hope.
Yeah,
but I'm saying you never know. These guys might take a break or they tweaking it. So if I'm going to go see Tim Hardaway Jr. and Steven Adams play, and I want to drive 8 hours, I'm gonna be pretty upset. That's my first thought. Secondly,
go ahead.
We've talked about Ja Morant on this show a few times, and his maturity level, the Memphis Grizzlies maturity level, just what I'm saying. And I'm not surprised that he's doing this. I think NBA players, some NBA players in the past, even when I was younger, have kind of acted like this, whatever. But I don't know a whole lot about the gun thing. What I heard was, I guess he was in a club or something, or he did something on Instagram Live and he flashed the weapon. Probably
he was like chilling and then like showed it. Like he's like more of like a goof. Like he wasn't like pointing or talking any kind of like recklessness. He was just showing a gun, which like either you're a rapper or like a dumbass, like a gang member. Like you wouldn't show, and it's not like he's demonstrating something. He's not at a gun range. He's not. It's just. Right. I got my jewels on. I got a gun because I'm a tough guy.
Yeah. It's an image. It's an image thing. And he's, obviously he's into the hip hop. He's got rapper friends. He's not about that life.
No.
If you look, he's not. I saw a funny little skit on TikTok. There's a skit of Carlton. And we're talking about Will Smith later from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. And Carlton is like known for being kind of like a, like a preppy guy, right?
Yeah, nerd.
And there's a skit of him like acting hood, and he's like, talking to Will Smith. Will Smith, who are you? And Carlton's like acting out of character, and people are saying that's Ja Morant. He's trying to be something he's not, right?
Yeah.
But for me, the flip side of it, and I'm going to play devil's advocate maybe, because I'm not sure how you feel, and maybe you feel the same way. I don't know. But I feel like you might feel different than this.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Morant's a young black man, right? He's got the jewels on, like you said. He's listening to hip hop music, I'm assuming, in the background, right? And he's flashing a weapon. Okay, cool. Bad image, bad look. You're a superstar, you're a role model, whatever. You got to know better, right? You should have people around you telling you, hey, man, you don't even need a gun around you. Your security should have a gun. First off, he's got enough money for that, right? It's a whole nother conversation, though. So he doesn't need to have that. He's not a gangster. He doesn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
But so let's say you have a NFL player. Let's just, I'll be super stereotypical. Let's say it's an offensive lineman for the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? A prominent one, okay? It's got a lot of money like Ja, maybe not well as known, but offensive lineman from Texas. He born and raised in Texas, where they love their guns. And now he plays in the Bengals, right? If that young man goes on Instagram Live and is listening to a Morgan Waller country Blake Shelton song in the background and he's shooting a gun, Nobody says a damn thing.
Right.
Am I right or am I right? Nobody says nothing.
I agree. I would agree with that one.
Right. So I think it's also about how Ja Morant looks, the music he's listening to, the lifestyle he wants to portray. Because if a white man does this and he's an offensive lineman for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's flashing a gun at a barbecue, the response, we don't even hear about it. So I feel like he's being judged a little too hard, but I also feel like he's an idiot. He should know better. So I don't know if anybody's gonna vibe with what I'm saying, but I think there's a little bit of a double standard when it comes to weapons in this country. And like one person can hold a weapon, it's like cool, and the other person holds it and it's a threat. That's just how I look at it. But
well, I like that angle. It's good. It's always good to have some different angles there. Hector says, you guys know that Colorado, the police department, is doing their own investigation to find out if he had a license to carry.
Yeah, I'm
if
sure
not,
they are.
He can face criminal charges. Hopefully he had, but there's some legit issues there. So what I will counter with you with this, Pedro, I'm trying to think of like a really like aggressive offensive lineman. All right. If Richie Incognito.
Okay, great. That's a good one. Yeah.
And his pattern of behavior, being aggressive, being a bit dirty, badgering one of his teammates. If he had a gun and he was shooting, it'd be like, oh, what are we doing? What's going on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's really happening here?
Could be.
That's what happened with Ja Morant. Ja Morant has displayed a pattern of behavior over this season where it looks like he's having issues with other teammates, and a little bit as Dylan Brooks, but a lot of that he wants to back up Dylan Brooks. He's trying to meet people in the parking lot type of thing with the stupid flash, the laser pen. There's some other I don't know if it's a rumor or allegation that he hit somebody.
A 17-year-old like a 17-year-old. He punched some kid or something. Yeah, I saw that.
So I think that's the problem. It seems like, all right, every little thing he kind of excusing it. All right, he's just, he's passionate. Yeah. He wants to stand up for himself. And he got the hip hop thing, but no big deals. There's so many NBA players out there. Listen to hip hop. Came from these neighborhoods where Ja Morant hasn't. Ja Morant's father played for the NBA. Okay. T. Morant actually played for the NBA. I don't remember that, but apparently he did.
Neither do I. I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah. Like I don't know what teams he played for.
He might have been. Obviously he was a role player, bench player. He might have been in the league a couple of years, but he wasn't like a star.
Yeah, he played high school with Ray Allen.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he was around. But so there wasn't, Ja Morant did not come from the gutter. He didn't come from the mud, because the ones who aren't behaving that way. Jimmy Butler came from nothing. Like his parents, I think his mother didn't even want him. You don't see him walking around like that, or even the other one. So I know a lot of people are kind of acquainted to Allen Iverson. I don't think that's a real good comparison, because Allen legit came from the streets. Like, he didn't have his father; it was just his mother. So there's a lot of, I think Ja is like other people. They're desperate. I guess he has an identity issue, and he's trying to find himself, and he thinks this is what it is. I'm a tough guy. Like, you're not. You just play basketball. Yeah. What's wrong with just being a basketball player? It's like, that's not enough for him. He's one of the most talented basketball players, most explosives. I mean, the dunks that he be putting on people at 6'3" is devastating, right? The team is still number 2 in the West.
Yeah, I think that's going to slip if he misses some time. I think there's only 17, 18 more games in the season, 20 games, So if he, let's say he misses the rest of them, which I guess could happen. I mean, they're going to slip in the standings a little bit, I think.
Yeah. And this is jeopardizing, like I said, a season that they may actually get to the NBA finals. And who knows, if you get there, what can happen. And I blame the organization of the Memphis Grizzlies. They clearly don't have any control over him. They have nothing. And right now, they're number 2. So hold
on. What's the organization supposed to do? You don't think they've had conversations? You don't think they have somebody checking on it? Are they supposed to hold his hand? Like, are they supposed to tell him he can't go out? Are they supposed to, what are they supposed to do?
Well, I would say if
Memphis,
the few other situations did they properly investigate it? Maybe if they would have suspended him before this, he would have not done what he's doing. Where there seems like it's an escalation of it doesn't matter what happens, I'm good because I'm John Morant.
He's like escalation of behavior.
Yes. And I think even with Dylan Brooks, I know they think this idea, well, he's just a tough nosed guy. I don't know. Like eventually you're going to piss the wrong person off. So I don't know. I think they could be more aggressive. Now they have to be, but it's too late now. It's more of it could be possibly a criminal case. And now you want to suspend the dude. That maybe should have been cut off at the we call it nub, whatever, earlier. I don't know. What do you think? Like, you think there was nothing they could have done? It's just him. Like,
I don't blame the organization because I feel like I think a lot of these organizations do a lot. They try to do things and curfews and this and that and things and contracts and vetting these players through the draft process and seeing what kind of character they have. Like I think they do enough. At some point, it's the player's responsibility because these guys are going to go out. They got money. They're young, rich. They got money. They're going to go to clubs. They're going to go out to dinner. They're going to date women. They're going to do whatever they want to do. They get a few days off. They're traveling. You're going to blow steam off after a win or after a loss. You're going to celebrate after a win. Like that is normal. It's been happening in all the sports since the beginning, right?
Right.
So I don't blame the organization. For me, and we've talked about this on this, we talked about fatherhood and the role of dads. Like, his dad's in his life. So is his dad not saying, what's up, man? Like, is he not grabbing him and saying, you're going to fuck everything up here? Like, what are you doing?
Does
he not have people around him, his friends, I know he's got a kid. I don't know I don't feel like he's married, but like, is his mom and like, who is his people around him saying, dude, what are you doing? You're about to lose some endorsement deals. Look at what, you got a good team. Like, you got to be the leader. I feel like if it's anything, it's the people around him that I blame versus the organization. That's my opinion.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like with his father playing the NBA.
Yeah.
It got to maybe it's a point where it doesn't matter what anyone said to him. Like, look at me. I'm John Morant. I got the monster deal. I got the endorsement with Nike. Who cares? Who even cares about my father? I'm better than my father was. So what is he going to tell me? It's possible. I mean, again, this kind of reminds me a little bit, and a very little bit. I'm not saying it's the same. Mike Tyson, of being, the most, the baddest dude on the planet at 19, 20 years old. How does that affect your brain? How's that, and we talked about this all the time, right? What would you do if you were in your early 20s and people thought you were amazing, you're great, you're an elite at your profession at 20? How would you behave? Right? If we're honest with ourselves, we'd probably be a bunch of knuckleheads, right?
Yeah, I'm not waving guns on live though. I'm not that. I might, you might catch me at the club with a couple baddies, but I'm not.
Yeah, maybe
I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm not hitting 17-year-old kids. I'm not whatever with the laser pointer. I'm not doing that kind of shit. You might see me drunk out in a while. You might see me passed out at a bar one night. Big deal. But I'm not doing the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why do you think he's behaving this way? Is he under some stress? I know he released a statement saying he's going to take some time to basically seem like he didn't say mental health necessarily, but said take some time to kind of reflect and think, is it too much pressure? Like, he seems like he enjoys playing ball. It don't seem like the pressure bothers him. The team is doing well. It must be something happening that we don't know that could be having, like you said, most players are doing they're drinking, probably not having the best relationships with women, the kind of women they're probably picking. And they may be a little indulgent in those areas, but they're not trying to be a thug. They're not trying to thug it out. They're not participating in that. So I'm wondering what is going on in his head. Is it too much social media, too many trolls? And then maybe he should not be paying attention to what's on Twitter, what's on Instagram. But I am interested to know what's going on in him, because he is hurting. He's hurting somehow. We just don't know what it is.
Well, I think he's in that hip hop culture too, man. He surrounds himself with that element of being boisterous and showing off, and you know what I'm saying, trying to always overcompensate in ways, show people that you got it, and really flashy, like, you know what I'm saying, like he's a part of that, and that could dilute your mind, I think, a little bit, and your sense of reality. Sometimes,
Oh,
the things we love about hip hop are also the things that could be the cancer to our communities, man, at times, because when you're somebody that isn't really feeling great about maybe yourself or your surroundings, and maybe you got something going on and you got that hip hop, and it's like you always feel like you're trying to impress and show off, and you're against everybody, and you want to show what you got, and you start becoming something that you're really not. I think maybe he's diving into that a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we don't see this type of behavior in a lot of other music genres. You just don't, so it's, I think he's going to be all right. He's super young still. I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll learn from this, hopefully. And hopefully he should have a bright future, but the people around him have got to help him. I think he needs some support. He needs some tough love a little bit. So
yeah, I think so too. Hopefully this is the rock bottom where he just needs to kind of take a step back, realize and really be humbled by the idea that you're not this guy that you think you are. I think that's the problem. He's hanging out in Memphis. I don't know what's happened. I don't know. A lot of people got in his head and kind of blew his head up to think that you could behave this way, and you're that kind of guy. I think you're right. I think a lot of this is his support system is enabling his behavior, and now everyone has to take a step back and say, "You're going to ruin this kid's life." Because he's something is happening that we're not able to figure it out. Leave him alone. Let's try to salvage this season. I don't know if they're going to go as aggressively and basically bump him and probably kick him off the entire year, but it's possible. It's a gun charge.
I think it's going to depend upon what the findings of the investigation are and like how that I think that will say a lot of how they react. So
Hector says Steve Adams said the team needed to stop hanging out after road games. So obviously, clearly I'm sure John has his entourage and these entourages. They're not going to say what you need to hear. They're going to say enough for you to keep the gravy train rolling. Let the money keep flowing so they can get their money. So he doesn't have a great support system, and maybe this is the time where T. Moran actually checks his son. But again, he has, like you said, it's his responsibility to say, okay, let me stop and move forward. So we'll see. I mean, right now, the standings. Let me look at it again. It's the Nuggets and the Grizzlies and the Kings for some reason.
And I got to give it. I watched the game Mavericks Suns. That was a good game. Kevin Durant. I haven't watched a lot of him this year. I've seen a lot of Kevin Durant when he was with OKC and with the Warriors. I didn't watch as much with Brooklyn. I haven't really seen the 3 games with the Suns except yesterday, I think it was. He looked phenomenal. So efficient, effortless. I mean, just every shot that goes up, you feel like it's going in. And
maybe that's the reason. That's the reason why I said what I said, because I'm watching him.
Yeah, he looks good. They look good together already. And it's Booker's 30 plus. The last 3 games, even with KD, KD's just kind of fitting himself in. I think KD's, if anything, he's just taking away shots from like Chris Paul, which is fine.
Yeah,
and it's going to make them better because it's a higher percentage shot now that you're getting on your offensive end. If Durant's shooting versus Paul, and Booker's going to get his looks. He's kind of like Kobe. He's going to put up a lot of shots, but he's going to get his points. He's very aggressive. Their mid-range game and a 3-point game. So you got Paul, Durant, Booker, all great mid-range. And they can also shoot the 3. I mean, they can all assist very well. The Suns, they look good. And I like the Mavericks, and I thought the Mavericks played well enough to win. Luka didn't have a great game. Statistically, it was there, but he missed a lot of really, really close shots that he usually makes. But this Kevin Durant looked good. He looked really good.
That's why I said they're going to probably make the finals. I just, if KD stays healthy, the guy can score from anywhere. You can't block his shot.
No.
When he gets going, he gets going. He likes to trash talk. Can't trash talk him because he'll just start dropping, threes on you. He'll dunk, and he can drive the ball. He can dunk it on you.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed because it's possible that the Suns may win the championship. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Right now, I think they're betting odds 2nd favorite up to win. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll win the championship because the Celtics, which is weird. The Celtics lost to the Knicks and the Nets. I don't know what's going on with the Celtics.
Yeah, they've been, and I think the Bucks are actually the 1 seed. I think they overtook that this past week from Boston Celtics. So it'll be one of those two teams, in my opinion, will come out of the East. And the West, man, the West is loaded.
Yeah,
so it's
a gauntlet. It's not going to be easy to get past these teams.
Yeah.
If you can keep Chris Paul healthy and just don't let him run too hard, because that's what happens at every end of the season towards the playoffs. He gets hurt.
Yep.
And he's not as effective. Just let KD run the show, and then come in the playoffs. And it may be the Suns versus the Bucks, and that's going to be a hard one, because at least Giannis ain't scared of Durant, and that that could be a bit of a kind of an equal footing. And then it's what else everyone else is going to do.
Yeah,
that'd be a good finals.
Well, they just played each other in the finals 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool.
It'd be kind of a rematch, but the Suns would be obviously a lot more loaded up with Kevin Durant in the team. So
we got some Knicks fans got their opinions. So Levi says Boston is overrated this year. Bucks or Suns are the teams to beat. And Hector says the Knicks offense is the most balanced in the NBA. Knicks are doing well.
Who said that? Hector?
Yes. Don't hate. Don't hate Pedro. They're doing pretty well right now.
Hector.
Fifth seed. Okay.
I love Hector.
Where's the Bulls at? Hold on, let me look at the Bulls. Hector, let me check.
We talking about the Bulls. I'm just saying he's the most balanced team in the NBA. We won 9 games in a row. Get out of here, bro.
So the Bucks are the Bulls, 11 seed, 29 wins and 36 losses. What do you think about the Bulls, Pedro?
Well, they should have been better.
Jordan's
last
not there.
year we started out really good, got the Rose in, but they've just he hasn't done what they need to do. The guys around him, Ball's been hurt. When Alex Caruso is one of your better players, it's not a good thing. So that's what I think about the Bulls.
Caruso has the ball.
No, I like him, but he ain't supposed to be one of your guys that you kind of rely on too much. So they do that on defense with hustling and all the things he does. And I think the coach is just listen, man. We need somebody else. We need somebody else, definitely.
Yeah.
So
it's okay, man. But if you want to learn more about the Knicks and how well they got, Hector's dropping a lot of gems inside the chat. You saw that last minute shot Randall hit. I mean, that was pretty cool. It looked kind of like a botch. Everything was just going wrong, and he just like, let me just throw this up in the air.
Just get this up. This up. No, the Knicks have got some really good guys, and to Hector's point, the last week or so they've had multiple guys have good games. Brunson and then Randall and then the Quigley kid. And then you got Barrett. He's all right. But Brunson's the main. For me, Brunson is the guy on that team.
I think the Mavericks should have paid for him. They should have paid for him. Got to cheat to have him cheaper, more consistent. But they got Kyrie.
They got Kyrie. Kyrie looks good. I mean, he played good yesterday.
Yeah. Wait. Hector kind of brought something up. Let's put this up here. Remember when Pedro said that the Bulls were going to have a better record than
Did I?
Did you say that? Did you have that?
Hold on. I need clarification and a clip on that, because all I remember is Hannibal saying the Brooklyn Nets are going to win a championship. I wrote that down. So unless Hannibal wrote down that I said that, it's not fact.
I didn't write anything down. So,
but it sounds like
how did I know that I said the Nets was going to win a championship? I didn't write that down
because I wrote it down.
Oh, so the things that you say you don't write down.
Correct. I know I'll forget, so it's not a big deal.
That's very convenient.
But you know what? Shout out to Hector. He's probably right, because that sounds like something I would say. So
yeah, I probably did. So we'll see. Again, the NBA season is winding down to the most interesting part. So we'll see who wins the whole thing. I think right now, since the Brooklyn Nets are not going to win the championship, obviously, I definitely think the Suns is going to at least get to the finals, and then give me another month, and I'll let you know if they're going to win the whole thing.
Okay, fair enough. Well, in a month, it's going to be playoffs, basically. So, not a month yet, but
we're getting there. I mean, I would say this winter is flying by, so which is good. Hate the cold. All right, the main event, Chris Rock special. So that Saturday, I was still traveling, so.
Let us know in the chat. Did you guys watch the Chris Rock special that aired live on Netflix, and now you could watch it in a live edited version? Let us know in the chat. Just give us a thumbs up if you watched it. Let us know. Yeah.
I did not watch it live. Traveling, got home, but I already started to see clips of basically the end of the special. So I already knew some elements just going on social media, and I was like, wow, this is really good. But I was kind of tired. I didn't want to watch it, so I watched it Sunday to watch the whole thing and then kind of absorb it that way. So I didn't get a chance to watch it live. Did you get to watch it live?
No. I was the same place you were when it happened. Yeah.
You said it through there. I want to watch this out. So
I think we basically watched it that Sunday afternoon. I actually texted Hannibal like, bro, this, I'm watching this right now or whatever. And he goes, yeah, I think I'm about to. So I think we watched it about the same time. We just haven't spoken about it till now. So
yeah. So if you don't want to know the spoil, well, at this point you probably already know what the spoilers are. But as much as I'm interested, obviously everyone's interested in what he said about the Will and Jada. I thought the entire special was worth talking about because he went in.
He held no punches.
Yes.
He was talking about famous people and certain group. Like he was going after it.
Yeah.
So
first, my critique is the crowd didn't. They only care about one thing. They only care about the bullet. They did not. I don't know if they were. I guess they thought he was going to spend a whole hour on this. So
yeah, that's a good point. They almost crowds felt like they were disappointed. He was putting in some good things, and they were just like waiting for him to talk about Will Smith.
Yeah, terrible crowd. Yeah. Terrible crowd, and it was all. And Chris Rock was very orchestrated. He went into Baltimore on purpose because that is where Jada is from.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
savage move.
Yeah, he went in, but I thought some of the other jokes were really, really good, and really like in terms of what the name of the special, selective outrage, and some of the the political correctness and the whole wokeness, and we are more worried about what the company is doing for social issues than the damn quality of the product.
Than the product, yeah.
He's like, talking about Lululemon. It's like, I don't care about the damn.
He's like, I don't care if my pants switch and say the N-word. If I'm saving $20, I'm good.
Because what they, Lululemon's really against when they're charging yoga pants for $100. They're not really, they don't care too much about poor people. So it's like, and he kind of followed the David Chappelle, like, I'm not going to give a F. I'm going to say what I want to say. Yeah. He said some stuff about the abortion thing where he's like, I'm pro-choice, but let me know. I'm going to let you know what you're doing if you have one, what you're doing, which I think the crowd was wincing. And and again, it depends on where you are when you do these specials, where you have a real comedic crowd that will just, they understand jokes. Even in the provocative ones, they really try to laugh with you, because they get it. But again, they all kind of, let's be honest. If the Will thing didn't happen, how many people would have went? Those people would have went to see a Chris Rock show.
Oh, I mean, I think he's still selling out, but he's not getting a Netflix live.
No.
Right? No. So he's not.
He did Netflix specials, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but it's not, and he's not getting that much money. I'm sure he got a shit ton of money for this, as he should have.
Yeah, definitely.
But I thought the jokes were, I mean, I'm trying to think back. He talked about the Kardashians, which to me was the weakest part of the show. Because I think nobody like the Kardashians suck. Like that's just he's like showing them love as a family, but then he's also so I thought he could have done. I thought that was a little weak, but I thought everything else was great. I thought his skit about the abortion stuff, and he's just saying I used to make sure the doctor did his job because I paid for all these abortions. Like I thought he was like making fun of himself, but like actually just being funny a little bit. Talked about a 24-year-old girlfriend versus a 50-year-old girlfriend. Thought that was pretty funny. 24-year-old girlfriend just wants you to buy her shoes, and she's gonna show you. She ain't got no clothes on. She's gonna model them. A 50-year-old girl, you date a 50-year-old girl. She wants you to fix her roof and do this and do that. And
that was all accurate. Like you can't even.
It's accurate. That's why it's funny.
100% accurate. You could tell all he does is been like giving money to women. Yes. And he said that, and he'll do it all again if he had to, because that's just what it is. I mean, but what I liked about going back to that title, selective outrage, and how do you get attention in our society now? How do you get it? Either you could be excellent, you could be infamous, but we said the most like I guess easiest one, or show your ass, but another easy one is being a victim. Yeah, and we have too much victims, too many. Like I said, people with paper cuts in the emergency room. Yep. That's 100% accurate. And maybe he's an old curmudgeon, and that's how he's in his 50s at this point. Oh, but man, we have a lot of people who want to be a victim, which is weird. It's like, why? Yes, there are victims, legit victims, but like Meghan Markle being a victim, like, are you a victim?
Yeah, I know, right? You're a beautiful looking woman that married into one of the richest royalty, and you have a beautiful husband, a beautiful family. You're an actress. Cry me a fucking river, like yeah, like you know what family you married into. Then come on. So
yeah,
it's kind of like like definitely it's a little like when people like that play victims, you got to call them out sometimes because like you're not the victim here. The true there's millions of other women that have it way harder than you, and you really just want everything perfect. Like, come on. Like,
I think that's that's a way of saying like you want like you have a pretty good life.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, maybe, obviously there may be some race stuff, but it's like also in-law stuff too. Like, some people don't have good relationships with their in-laws. I have a pretty good one.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't always the easiest in the beginning, but I think a lot of that is understanding each other. Yeah. But also, I'm with someone that's around, basically we same Caribbean, Black, African American Caribbean kind of family. So I didn't have to deal with a different race or a different religion.
Yeah.
It's not, that may not always click correctly. I mean, you're
it doesn't. Yeah, I'm part of that. I've been part of that twice. I met my ex-wife was mixed, and my girlfriend's white. I'm Puerto Rican. My girlfriend's family is something that I'm not, like with the religion that they have, and I'm not that, and they're very, very different than I am in my family. So there's that. But like at the end of the day, like I don't, I care about like how my girl feels about me and if she's good, you know what I'm saying? Like I think too much of us, we put too much pressure on like, oh, the family has to like us and my cousin needs to like you. My mom needs to love you. Nah, that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? It's not always going to be like that either, so.
Yeah. And also it just, sometimes it takes time, but yeah, I'm sure you'll get pissed off anyway if the in-laws had some biases that was stupid, and then you got to kind of have to deal with that. But that's how it is. What happens? You go to Thanksgiving, you get drunk, and then you deal with these family for a few days. You go home, right? Like, I know in LA, we were talking to a young man about him being Indian and having his girlfriend or his mother of his child a different race, and how the parents had to deal with that. And it seemed like things worked out at the end, but at first they probably were like, "What's going on?" Especially Indian culture is very, very rigid. Yeah. So like those type of things are more relatable than Meghan make it seem like everything's out to get her. And please give us our privacy. But we have a podcast and we got a Netflix special and we wrote a book and we're gonna watch.
Which is so that to me just I watched. My mom's big into. So I was born, I think around the same. My mom got married and I was born around the same time that Princess Diana's first son, William, the other one with the stick up his ass, Harry's brother, right? So like we're the same age. So my mom was a big fan of Princess Diana, and I remember when she died, and that my mom was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." So like my mom was, I was watching some of that special with my mom, or I watched it after she told me she watched it. I'm sorry, and I was like, "This is really cringy to me." It's like these famous people, these beautiful celebrities with millions of dollars complaining, and they want privacy, but then they're talking to Oprah Winfrey. And they're on the cover of People magazine. It's like, what's really happening here? Like it just seemed really ingenuine to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They really think some level of narcissism. Like I am extremely important. I am a victim of this. And the reason why I bring all this up, and he also was talking about, he had a lot of provocative jokes. I think the abortion stuff with, like, you could tell
that was pretty provocative.
Yeah. Some of the transsexual jokes.
Yeah.
They were, listen, those jokes were hitting the crowd. It was a bad crowd.
You can tell that he's been watching Chappelle. You can tell he's been watching Chappelle.
I was on the couch clapping and laughing. I'm like, the crowd is not into this. Like, these are jokes, right? Like he is trying to make you guys laugh, and the crowd and it's live too. Because I think what happens sometimes when you tape these specials, he may have, you had some dates to tape, but if you taped and it was a bad crowd, it's like, oh fuck it, we're gonna get another show.
We're gonna pipe some noises in, maybe.
You can kind of tell sometimes when there's a pipe the noise in, but he was aggressive. It felt that kind of, no, it wasn't as good as Bigger and Blacker or Bring the Pain. No, first of all, because the crowd was into those jokes, but you could tell that he is still in that mode of, I'm going to make people laugh and I'm going to make you think. I'm going to offend. I'll make it feel uncomfortable. Because at this point, the only people who are doing that and having some level of intelligence are comedians at this point.
Oh, for sure. I think about obviously Chappelle. I mean, he's been on a great run.
Oh yeah,
love what he's doing, and Bill Burr. He's a comedian. I don't know if you know who
that
is. He's very he pushes the he goes over that line. You know what I'm saying, and several others. But I mean, I thought Chris Rock. I thought the special was really good. I don't think it's his best one, but I thought it was good. It was timely. He's on topic. He's, with what's going on in society, and good comedians do that. They tackle the issue and make fun of it and give their personal opinion on it, which I think is good. I appreciate when somebody just, hey, this is how I feel about it. Let's make a joke about it. I think that's good. Or it allows people to calm down a little, take a serious issue and just, okay, let's just, listen to somebody tell jokes about it. I think that can be healthy. It's my opinion. Especially when you go to a show, you got to understand these are comedians. You're there to laugh. Don't take everything so serious,
Right.
But I wish you would have spent a little more time on the Will and Jada. Yeah. He only gave us 6-7 minutes. It was at the end, which it should be at the end. You're not going to do it in the beginning. I get it.
Because you know who's going to watch the rest.
I think it could have been the last 15 minutes.
That's possible.
Or something. Yeah. I don't know how many times he said the word bitch, but that was every time he said it, I would just laugh even harder.
Yeah,
he's calling Jada a bitch and he's calling Will a bitch. I mean, I'm like, damn, he's really going in on these people.
Yeah, you can tell he's angry.
And he should. Yes. Because they took out their personal shit on him and made him try to look bad or weak.
Will
and
Smith
at the end, he looked
he crime.
Yeah.
I mean, so some people are even some of the criticisms that Chris on the special say, hold on a second. He can say whatever he wants about Will Smith. Will Smith committed a crime. He could have pressed charges. He didn't. So he's allowed to say whatever he wants because he shouldn't have pressed charges.
But but I think if he presses charges, he looks bad a little too. Maybe that's what I think. He played it perfectly. That's my opinion. But he could have pressed charges. You're right.
He could have because he got assaulted on live television. So like you can't. Will Smith's going to fight that. Can't fight that charge. Like wait, you did. We all saw you hit him.
He would have got paid. I mean, Will Smith would have had to pay him some godly amount of money so that it wouldn't have had to go to court and stuff. But instead, I think Chris Rock said, "Hold up, I'm going to let this sink in. I'm going to let people call Will Smith a bitch, even though he's been being called that forever in the last few years, because his wife interviewed him about sucking some guy off. I didn't know about that. Like that's crazy.
You didn't see that?
No, I don't. I don't watch that shit.
So what he's referring to when Chris Rock was saying, okay, so Will Smith was dating, basically having an affair, which I don't know is an affair because what happened was this artist's name is August Asina.
I knew the artist guy.
He actually has some decent music, but again, if you're not into R&B and hip, you may not know who he is. But
he was like 20 years younger than Jada.
It was his son's friend. She has sex with him. It's funny. He brings it up first. This artist, August, he says, I was able to hit and Will said it was okay. Now, most celebrities, what they would do is, first of all, contact August and ask him, what are you doing? But then just say nothing. It could have just him being crazy and saying some crazy stuff. Like people say things all the time. Yeah. We don't know it's true until you said something. Then for some reason, because it could be some narcissism, we're so enlightened. We're above you human beings. I'm going to interview Will Smith as he looks completely dejected as a man. And I'm going to tell him I was in an entanglement. And how does you feel about this situation? And Will Smith looking, and again, he's an actor. So it's hard to even know
what's reality and how he's,
I think he looked dejected.
Let me ask you a question. You're gonna let your wife interview you after the world knows you cheated?
No.
Fuck no. What? Like, there's no way. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna divorce her. I don't know all the situation. But I'm saying I'm not gonna have myself interviewed when because it makes him look like a punk. It is what it is. I'm gonna call it. It makes him look like a punk.
It's either they have open thing or they don't.
If it's open, just say, hey, we have an open relationship. I don't care. She does that. I do what I do. I love her. That's my wife. I'm never going to divorce her.
Yeah.
We have an agreement. To me,
and that would have dropped it. Yeah, they would have dropped it.
Yeah, that's
for
different.
For some reason, it may seem like he was cheating. She was cheating on him.
Yeah.
And she wanted to bring it to the red table. I don't know. Chris Rock says, why are you guys bringing it up? Why two talented people are bringing up this personal thing unless
you're airing out your laundry. Like, come on, you guys are talent. Like, you're better than that. I just think, and some people might look at it the reverse, like, well, they're a step above everybody, and we're gonna tackle this head on and show everybody blah 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 blah. I mean, if I'm Will Smith, I'm bringing my side chick on the show with me, and my wife's gonna have to look at her as I answer these questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna. It's just I've talked about this on the show. I feel like she wears the pants and the shirt in that relationship, and Will Smith's standing there in his whitey tidy underwear, and it's not. I don't think women respect men like that. I just don't. I think she clearly runs that, man, and good for her. But it's kind of sad for him, in my opinion.
Because we all looked up to Will Smith like he was the man.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best actors to ever live. Yeah, I mean,
before he slapped that dude, it could have been nothing that Will Smith did wrong. Like, he lived. I mean, I'm sure he had some issues, but he was the man. He seemed like nothing ever fazed him, and nothing ever bothered him. And for him to react that way because of some beef about some Oscars about a couple of years ago, like, who cares? He made some jokes. Why you guys has such fragile egos? But the best line, and they said it, and I saw a few clips about this, and obviously I watched it as well. When Chris Rock said, "She hurt him way more than he hurt me."
That's a heavy line,
right? Yeah. He said it, and they didn't laugh. That's why I know. God, that crowd sucked. That was a big line. He said, "Yeah, I got slapped in my face." He said, "Ring in the ears." It still plays "Summertime" in his head.
Yeah, I thought that was a good line.
The fact he said she hurt him way more than he hurt me.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good. That's a good assessment of why Will reacted the way he did. Hector says Chris Rock, in my opinion, way too long to talk about Will and Jada. I think the reason why it took so long is all comedians, they take about a year to develop material. So for him to, and also he set this up because he wanted to get paid. He wanted to bag.
And it's been almost exactly a year. I think he referenced that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All comedians, they take about a year to just develop their material. They go to they get into, especially if you're famous like Chappelle or Rock, you can go to any comic club anytime and do a set.
Yep. And you go in there, practice your routine.
Yeah. So by the end of the year, you should have a special. You should have your best minutes. Now, I do agree with Pedro. I think 15 minutes would have been perfect. I think he did 10, probably less than 10. Maybe that's all he had to do. Like, what else? I mean, I don't know. What else?
I want you to put this up from Dash Theory TV. He got 20 million from Netflix.
Yeah, he won. He did pretty well. He did pretty well. he did exactly
for a 1 hour live. Good for him, man. Yeah. Well deserved. I mean,
well deserved. What I noticed about the time he did put in, he was still angry about it. He was.
You could tell. Because you know what? What I noticed, and it's, maybe I misnoticed this, and let me know if anybody else caught this. Towards the end, it could have been because it's towards the end. You're talking, but he got more geared up and amped up. His footsteps were harder.
Yes.
His mouth was frothing a little bit when he was talking about Will and Jada, and you can tell, like, he was embarrassed. You get slapped on. You're doing the Oscars. That's a big night of your life. You're getting smacked in front of tens of millions of people.
Your mom, in front of your kids.
That's embarrassing.
2 grown daughters.
Yeah,
and and maybe that's the reason why he didn't want to spend too much time on it. Because you could tell he was angry. He's like, I didn't talk about that bitch. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he dropped the B word 20 times probably. Yeah, I bet if I count. I mean. But then when he called Jada a bitch, he was like, that's when the crowd got the amp. The crowd got an amp when he called Jada a bitch. I was like, damn, like that's
he's mad. He
mad.
Was angry. And then he just said, I tried to call the dude and he ain't answered. So there's obviously issues. And you do that to me. So yeah, I'm gonna call you a bitch and your wife a bitch and embarrass you as it is now. Like, I mean, I think the funniest joke was we all been cheated on, but no one has been cheated on and been interviewed by this person we've been cheating on. It's like, yes, I suck some dick. How does that make you feel? And they put them like, that was fun.
That it was, because that, and Will Smith since then, or I guess that night he won an Oscar, right? The night that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, he won an Oscar, which we're forgetting about because he made himself look like an idiot because he overreacted. Selective, what's the name of selective outrage?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I feel for Will Smith because I feel like he just bubbled. He just bubbled, and it happened, and I have empathy for that. I get it. I get that part, but he's got to take. When you react like that, you got to take your beatings. You know what I'm saying? Like people are going to have an emotion and an opinion about it, but I think Will Smith's going to come. He's going to be fine. He seems like he's a man that is very in touch with what's going on. I think maybe this will help him in some ways. He got that rage out, but clearly that's pointed at all the people, the other celebrities, the media. They're calling him these things. Is that anger is pointed towards his wife, and he took it out on Chris Rock. That made a bad joke, a G.I. Jane joke. It's not a great joke, but
it was a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, maybe it's outdated. G.I. Jane's a 20-year-old plus movie. Like nobody cares. Half the crowd probably didn't get the reference. Half the people watching didn't get the reference. So it's a bad joke. So, Chris Rock won. I mean, but you can tell he's still mad about it.
Yeah, even with the 20 million, and he's like, why did you do that?
Well, he's got 20 million, but he's got all those abortions to pay for. So, I mean, he's gonna, he's just recouping the money based on what he said. So, YouTube, don't ban us. Sorry, it's just
listen. That's what I think. The earliest stuff were important. It just and he attacked everybody. He went after conservatives. He obviously went after liberals. Because we all, at least me, I'm a balanced person. I'm not one goddamn set of the political spectrum. And these people who are in this hardcore left, hardcore right, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I appreciate, Chris Rock would kind of bring that together. And as for Will Smith, he'll be fine. I will always look at him differently, though. I'm sorry. It's just the way you let, I think we talked about this too. If you just leave the chick and say, listen, I made a bad decision the last couple of years. It was embarrassing. She emasculated me and I'm free from it. I'm like, you know what? Good job. But you put out that weird apology that looked fake and it didn't make it looked very cringe. It didn't feel genuine. You talking about your good friends with his brother, not the way his brother was talking about you. You're not good. You were not good friends because if you were good friends with his brother, you wouldn't slap his brother because that's, what I mean? Like, apologize to his mom. It just looked weird. It looked weird. Did you contact the dude? He said, I think he tried, but so hopefully he should still apologize. Take your beating. You hit him. You should reach out to Chris and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You should still apologize. You should get your woman to apologize, but that you can't get that because you have no control over his woman.
Jada ain't doing nothing, bro. I think she, I don't think she's built like that. Good for her. Whatever. I don't. But
she missed Tupac, is what everyone keeps saying. That was her true love, and he left, and then Will Smith came in. He was doing Independence Day. He was the hottest thing around. She was like, "Well, I'll just deal with this dude." And you thought that, everyone keeps saying that Will and Jada love, right? All the decades, like they have such a solid relationship. These weird kids they had. And you thought, like, this is the relationship we all should kind of idolize, and you realize that's the absolute worst relationship.
No, you realize that even just because you're together a long time doesn't mean things are great. Just because you're a celebrity and you got money don't mean things are perfect, right? So
absolutely,
that's not normal. That kind of behavior that's not normal. Yeah. And what is normal? But it's not healthy. I'll say that it's not healthy. I don't think so.
Not everything needs to be public, and that was it. That's really it. Like, if they kept things together, like in private, no one would have known anything. No one would, because even if that rapper did say something weird, I was banging it. If no one says anything, it's out of the news. Oh, you remember that weirdo said something weird, and then you can say that you could literally lie. That didn't happen. I don't know what he's talking about. Homeboy's, I don't know. He's because he had some mental health issues too. Yeah. He's like, I don't know, this guy's a weirdo. I've never seen him a day in my life. You know what I mean? Like, lie. At least you protect your kids. Like, this is just embarrassing. But that, I think, goes back to what we both were saying. At least we were saying too. They think they're so goddamn enlightened. Mm-hmm. They're above being a human being. I could talk about everything and anything because I am, I'm motivated. You go on Will Smith's YouTube and his IG. He's motivating. He's telling you the right thing. I'm sorry. I don't have to listen to anything you're saying.
Not when you act like that.
No, I can't. I'm good. Again, like asking, like, I'm trying to work out, and some guy 300 pounds start telling me how to do some deadlifts. Nah, sorry, dude, I can't listen to you.
Yep.
You're not
there has to be like evidence or a timeline of what you're talking about, actually you doing it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just come somewhere and be like, hey, I can make a lot of money, and you're broke. Like, what? What's going on here? Like, that doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah, so. Like you walked, I think you drove by Skid Row. Like someone came to you on Skid Row as you stopped at a red light and said, let me give you some stock advice.
I'm good. No,
like, nah, dude. Nope. Do you want some money?
Yeah, not doing it. Not doing it. Somebody just mentioned the Kardashians. Another good joke I really liked when he's talking about Robert Kardashian being on the lawyer team. It got OJ off, a black man off, killing 2 white people. And his curse basically was his daughters would bang and date nothing but black men and crazy black men. I thought that was from Kanye and Lamar Odom. I thought that was pretty good too.
You know what? And the whole OJ thing, it's very interesting because if you're not, I guess 35 and older, it's totally irrelevant to you. But I guess if you're a little younger, you have to understand how big the OJ thing was.
Huge.
It was great for everything. I mean, if that was on social media, it would have been ridiculous.
Could you imagine? That'd be like, let's think of a retired Hall of Fame running back. That's really good because that's what OJ was at the time. You know, he was retired, but he was in the Hall of Fame.
One of the greatest. Yeah,
movies. So like, think about like an athlete. I don't know, somebody famous like Peyton Manning. Okay, let's say Peyton Manning killed his ex-wife's boyfriend and killed his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then try to drive away in a white Bronco.
Even though Peyton Manning's white, so that wouldn't be quite as controversial. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it'd be a big deal. It'd be like, what the fuck, Peyton Manning?
And I guess you have to find another black athlete because he was so accepted in Hollywood. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, I still watch Naked Gun, and he was.
I've never seen any of the Naked Guns.
Get out of here.
Never. I know the movies. I've seen clips. Shit.
Yeah,
never seen all. Never seen all.
You should watch it. It doesn't matter which one. I mean, obviously,
but doesn't O.J. Simpson play like a doofus kind of in the movie?
Yeah, Norman. His name is Norman.
Yeah. Okay.
He's funny. He's probably like little bits and pieces. He's not the main guy in those movies, but he was funny, and he did commercials. I mean, he's a good looking guy, and then he seemed like he has a temper issue, and his wife was leaving him, and saw hit like with Chris Rock. I think it could have been Bigger or Blacker, but it could have been Bring the Pain. He's like, so you're gonna leave me and then have the dude that you cheat on me with driving my car? He's like, are you out of your effing mind? He's like, I'm not saying that he should have killed her. Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah. For me, Bigger and Blacker's that's the Chris Rock I like.
I like both. I mean, those two.
And another thing, what's with Bigger and Blacker? He's got the suit on. Chris Rock came out like he was getting pictures taken in like middle school. He had like these white pants and like his white button-up shirt. He didn't look good. That's just me.
It looked all right. I think
he didn't look great. I thought he could have looked better.
I think the white was definitely on purpose. I don't know if that means
but he could have had it. It didn't look good. I thought he should have came out and looked a little neater, a little cleaner. He's still fit. He looks good for his age, but the outfit for me just wasn't.
What do you think? This is back in the 80s and 90s, all leather suit.
Yes, I want the all leather Eddie Murphy. I want the all leather.
Of course,
Eddie
I would.
Murphy.
Yeah, obviously. Black comedians and all leather suits for stand-ups is a must.
Please, it is a must.
I think it's hot. It's probably too hot. Imagine you ever had a whole leather suit on? I never had a.
I thought about packing that to LA, but I figured it might be a little too hot, so I left it at home.
No, next year. Yeah. Kuala, maybe, hopefully I got it right. I mean, let me know.
I think you did. I'm afraid to say her name now because I think she hates me. Shout out. I love you. Nice to meet you.
She's the best. She's the best.
She's the best. The best.
Do you think it was maybe all a stunt to get themselves back in the club? I know a lot of people have that.
A lot of people think that. I've seen a lot of things. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it was real. I think it just happened the way, because if it's a stunt, then that means this whole special's a stunt too, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it's too crazy and weird for it to sometimes we do think like sometimes Hollywood and stories can be written and they're very intricate and like I can't believe unbelievable. This is too unbelievable for it to be real.
Yeah.
Like it just for Will that did what he did, now people still think it was fake. No, I think that was years of Jada in his head fighting with him. Like he was getting, and he took it all out. Because, all right, Chris Rock made a joke. He looked at Jada. Jada looked annoyed, and he thought, "I'm gonna go and defend my wife."
Yeah, and he thought that was the power move. Like that was what he was supposed to do in the moment. Yeah,
and that was the complete opposite. You should just kept laughing.
Yeah,
and then talk to her, or talk to him afterward. You could have approached him. You could have did the fight in the back.
I was just gonna say that he could have just saw him and closed the door behind him in the dressing room. Say, "Hey, we got to do this right quick," and then nobody really needs to know, right? But nah,
for him to do that, it just made him so weak. Like you said, it is a bitch move to hit someone that they can't fight back, or it's not as big as you. You're a punk. You're not a tough guy. Tough guys don't do that. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what Will Smith says. But talk about music real quick before we end this. I didn't get to listen to all of the Creed 3 soundtrack, but I was enjoying it. And we need to bring back solid hip hop soundtracks. Like I love the Black Panther one, and back in the 90s, that was the thing. It seemed like it happened every year, from like New Jack City and Boomerang. Like I remember all those great soundtracks from all those movies, and I think we need to bring that back. And I was listening to a few songs, Dreamville, which they just know how to put all. They know how to put.
It's good, and it's a good. I listened to most of it yesterday when I sent you that, and it's good. Dreamville's good. It's got a mix of some R&B, and it's got the hip hop. It's got some street music. It's good. It's got a track. I can't remember the name, but it's definitely, I can tell. I haven't seen Creed 3 yet. I'm gonna see it.
I haven't seen any of it.
It's good. Hold on. You're giving me shit for not watching Naked. You haven't seen any of the Creeds?
No. What? And I've seen all the Rockies like 10 times in a row.
Then why haven't you seen the Creeds?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just such a departure from the Rocky series.
It's really not, because Rocky's in the first two, and Rocky's an integral part, especially in the first one. Listen, I just watched Creed 1.
Yeah,
watch Creed 1. It's pretty good. Yeah. Creed 2 wasn't as good. I think Creed 1's really good. Yeah. And Creed 3, I don't know what to expect. I like the new guy, the Majors guy.
He looks pretty good.
They got a good backstory. I think Creed 3 is going to be a legit movie, but the soundtrack's pretty good. It's got a good mix. So.
But I know like Sylvester Stallone was mad that he wasn't in Creed 3, or they took the movie. So I don't know. I'm a big Rocky. I love all the Rocky movies. Like I've seen them multiple times, and maybe that's the reason why I'm like, there's no way Creed, and he's a good actor. Michael B. Jordan's a great actor, but
he is.
There's something about Sylvester Stallone and Rocky and the emotional hits that they have. Like even I can still remember that one scene, and the one where he fights Antonio Tarver. I forgot which Rocky it was.
That's Balboa. Where
he's crying about his wife and not being there, and he didn't know. I can't believe it shouldn't be so hard. I can't even breathe. Like the emotion that
he's a good actor. Sylvester Stallone's he's underrated. I think.
I 100% agree. So, Creed has that level of emotion.
Listen, I need you to watch Creed 1, because Rocky plays. There's emotion. Adrian's involved in some ways. Michael B. Jordan's good. They have good chemistry in it. Watch Creed 1. I think you'll enjoy it. Did I cry? No.
Oh, you don't cry in a movie? Oh,
it's not Rocky 2, bro. It's not Rocky 2. Rocky 2, when Adrian wakes up and get him, and and the sun was just pouring. Yeah.
Listen,
that
I need to go work out right now. I need to run.
As a man, yes. Shout out to Rocky, man. Such a great movie. Love Rocky.
Definitely. So I'm gonna check out Creed. Next by
check out Creed 1. Just check it out by next Monday. We could talk maybe a little bit about that on Monday, maybe. What do you think?
The first Creed? I mean, we're a little bit behind.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying if you watch the first Creed, we could talk a little bit about, because I watched the third one, and we could talk a little Rocky Creed next week. Okay, that sounds good. On that note, guys, another great one. Hopefully, hopefully you have good people in your corner telling you the right thing. I think that's the theme of today's episode, right? You have someone telling you, "Hey, you are a great basketball player. Don't have guns and show don't flash guns in the strip
club, all right? Don't be Gilbert Arenas. He's a clown for that, right? And if you have a situation where a wife is completely just like emasculating you and making you look like a bitch, hopefully you have a friend saying, "Yo, dude, this woman's making you look like a bitch. You need to leave the relationship now."
Listen, if your wife is sucking another guy off
and wants you to interview,
her, say no.
Definitely say no. I would definitely agree on that one. All right, guys, have a fantastic night, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.